My name is Perry and I live in a little cottage in North Wales. After living 10.5 years on the narrowboat, I create lampshades, weave and do lots of other crafts, and I have a gorgeous transit van that I converted into a camper called Tilly Teacup, and I often go on travels with her, and this is my life in a teacup. Hello peeps. Well, it seems to have been an age, doesn't it? As you know, there's been a lot going on. So I think it's been about 3 weeks. So how are you all? Hope everybody's well. My last vlog that I put up had some fabulous comments and all your condolences and everything because of my dad, obviously. And that was very, very kind of you. And I'm sure I answered all of them. I've tried to answer all of them, and if I didn't, I'm so sorry, but I'm sure I have. I've checked through and it looks like I did. So once again, thank you so much. And you keep those comments going, guys, because I love it. It's great. So what's been happening? Well, as you know, so last week has been spent most of the time I was down in Devon, because whilst it was my father's funeral, and as you know, I didn't get on with him. I didn't go to the funeral, but I went down and I went to the wake, which was on last Thursday. Where are we today? We are Thursday today, so a week ago today was the wake, and my brother had sorted all that out in my dad's house. And then on the Friday we scattered some, not all, of my dad's ashes, and that was quite nice actually, because what we did was, as I'd mentioned before, he was a very keen sea fisherman, and he'd fished all his life. I mean, we've got pictures of him when he was a very young man, when he was still in Cyprus. So obviously he was a teenager holding big fish that he'd just caught and things like that. So he has sea fished all his life. And we went to the spot where he used to stand and fish all the time down in Bigbury. And the boys, you know, because my brother was there with some of my brother's friends that knew my dad, and especially they'd grown up with Tony, and when they were young, obviously they were quite, you know, knew my dad quite well. And I think one of them worked for my dad for a while or something back in the day. And one of my brother's French sons was there and a few other people, and we fished. I didn't, but they fished only for about half an hour. They just threw the lines in, just almost didn't catch anything, in memoriam really, I suppose. And we had some of Dad's ashes, and we had a coffee and a drink and said cheers. And when the time came, we put the ashes in the water. The tide was coming in and we put them in the water so the tide would take them out. And that was quite poignant really, as I said, because at the end of the day, he was my dad, as much as we didn't get on. And the one thing we did was, me and my brother and his son, Kim, who's his French son from France, we all dug for sand eels. Now, those of you that don't know anything about fishing, and I only know this because of my dad, sand eels, they look like little white bait. They're only about that long, and you dig them and you use them as bait for sea fishing. And we used to, you dig them and they'd come up and you'd literally catch them, and we used to chuck them in our little buckets, dig with your bucket and spade. Unfortunately, because of the time of year, and it's October now, they go deep down into the sand, and you can't get them. So we didn't get any of those either. And I'm glad really, because I didn't want to see them being hooked up, because I don't like that sort of thing. And then we threw the ashes in, and that was a nice moment. And I did say to my brother at one point, I got a bit tearful, and I sort of said to him, we're orphans now. It's just me and you, kid, because I'm the older sister and he's my younger brother. He was the middle one. My sister was the younger one, because we lost our sister 25 years ago, and of course mum went 12 years ago, and dad's gone 13 years ago, and dad's now gone. So yeah, whilst I know I've got my niece Tanya, who I adore, and other nephews and things, and my great nephews and nieces, and sort of extended family memories from my brother's members from my brother's side of the family, because they're all his kids. He had 4 kids, my brother, and me and my sister had none, by choice for both of us, and he had the 4. So we let him carry on the generation of our family, if you like. So yeah, it was the immediate family, if you see what I mean, like out of my mum, dad, sister and brother. There's just me and my brother left now. So yeah, so that was a bit like, oh, little orphans. But it was quite nice. I mean, my brother had organised it all, and it was quite nice. So that's that done. You know, like I said, Dad was 92, lived his life how he wanted to live it. It's another chapter over, and it happens to us all at the end of the day. So yeah, so he's gone fishing wherever he's gone, and that's that bit done. What else has happened? Oh, okay. So remember I mentioned to you last time about the courses that I was doing, the lampshade making courses. I'm pointing to this because there's a lampshade here. Sorry, you can't see it, can you? So I'm pointing to it. Well, the place that I'm holding the course is Amanda's Fabrics, and clue is in the name. She's a fabric shop. I decided to make a lampshade in some of her fabric. I'm going to make two, but one of them was for advertising, as it were, to advertise it. And this was the fabric that I chose. Now, it's very, you see the colours, it's really sort of autumnal colours. It's all reds and oranges and greens and rusts and things, which I thought was quite nice. And I'm going to put a photograph of the finished article alongside this, because it does look really nice, because it's autumn and we've got obviously Halloween coming up. I mean, we do celebrate Halloween in this country, and it's bigger now than it ever was. And I'm afraid that's probably the influence of you guys in the States, because I remember being in New York once in Halloween, near Halloween. Yeah, that was interesting, in Times Square, full of monsters, like, you know, all dressed up and everything. Yeah, it's very big in the States, I know that, but over here it never really was, not when I was growing up, but in recent years, yeah. And one of my great nephews adores this time of year, and it doesn't matter how old he is now, he loves. And so Tanya, my niece, she decorates the house, and, you know, big spiders webs and all of that, she does it all. And it's great, yeah. So it's becoming a bit more of a thing over here. So in this shop, she's got a window, and she's got it all dressed with, you know, pumpkins and autumnal leaves and things like that. So I've made a shade out of this, and it sits in the window, and it looks really nice. So it's a good advert for the course. But I also bought some other fabric there, and I'm going to make a big shade out of that. Look at that. Aren't those colours lovely? I mean, I'm not quite sure about the pattern, but I just love the colours, because it's greens and blues and purples and things. Yeah, sort of my colours. So I'm going to make something in that, and that will sort of go up for sale at some point. What else have I done? Oh yeah, somebody wanted me to now I've made this before, and this is similar. I don't think I've ever shown these, but I think I said to you before, I print my own fabric and I print my own papers. Well, it's a little bit of a commission. I'll just show you. Now these are separate canvases, okay? And what that is, if I hold it up, you can see that's tissue paper that I've printed with a gel plate. So you can either have it on the wall like that, or you can have it as 3. So I'm looking forward to that going out. Now I don't like the fact that those two are together. So you see, because the colours are similar at the end, so I probably would do something like that. But yeah, so there's those. And I really like them, look. Very simple process, but I think it makes quite an effective little picture. So there's those as well. And what else has happened? Oh, yes. As you know, the cottage weaver, because I weave as well. And at this time of year, the orders are coming in thick and fast. And I've got quite a few on the books now. And as you know, I've got to make some for a shop in Conwy. You remember I said last time I'd gone to a shop. I've got them done in the next couple of weeks. I don't know where I'm going to find the time, because in the meantime, whilst I've got forward bookings, they don't really have to be ready till well into November, and obviously coming up to Christmas, because people are ordering them for Christmas gifts. I've got a lady who wants one next week. So I've just gone through all the wools and had a look, because she's obviously chosen the colours she wants, but also I've got to sit here now and make colourway batches for the ones I have to do for the shop. So I've got all the wool out. I'll show you now. My job for today. So I've got all this big tub of loads and loads of wool, absolute loads of it, and there's bags of it there, and there's lots of scraps of it there, and then in that basket there I've got all my roving that I use to put slubs in, and just there's just loads of it. So I've got quite a job to do. There's quite a few. It's a big tub there, and like I said, the ones, like I've pointed out, the ones in the bags and everything. So I'm going to now gather wools together and make sort of colourways. So for example, because I've got funny look, look at those colours together. So I could make a wrap or scarf with that and maybe put a little bit of rust in. And then what I would probably do, have I got a cream? Oh, I don't know. Would that go? I mean, that's a bit of an oddball, that one, but they sort of go. I could introduce that somewhere along the way. So that's what I've got to do now. I've got to make colourways for the scarves and wraps I'm going to make for the shop and put together the colourways as I showed you before in a previous vlog, to send a picture to my client to make sure she's happy with the colours I've chosen, and off I'll go and weave. So that's nice that that's come in. I'm pleased, you know, because once I'm weaving, I really enjoy it. But I think I've said to you before, it's when I'm warping. So it's when I'm putting the wool on to the heddle loom that I have, the rigid heddle loom. I find that quite boring. But once I'm sat and I'm weaving away and deciding as I go what colour changes I'm going to make, I quite love that. So what else has happened? Oh, my cousin came from Australia, Tansy. Hi, Tansy. I found out she watches my vlogs. I didn't realise. Tansy and I see each other. We didn't really grow up together. I mean, there is an age gap between us. And it's only later in life that in fact, I've seen more of Tansy since she's lived in Australia than I have. And it's because she comes home to see family and friends. I mean, I've never been out there. I don't know if I could do that journey, but you know, she flies all over with her job and everything. So she has come over this week and we've had a fabulous time. She came on Monday, stayed over, and we went to a place called Horseshoe Falls, which I will, again, little part of Wales down the road from where I live, and I'll pop it alongside here for you to see some nice scenery and things. And I'll add some nice little music so that you can sit there with a cup of tea and just take time out for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever. Relax, because we all need to do that. Now, just going back a little bit, to my dad. My brother has, bless him, he's done all the clearing of the house and everything. So he's done all that, and he knew the little bits that I wanted, because there was stuff left there from my mum and my sister, so that my mum and dad had obviously carried around with them. And I'd sort of picked up all the boxes, and so I was emptying the box the other day, and I found this. Now, I'd like someone to tell me what this is, if they know what it is. So this is... yeah, so in the comments, tell me what you think it is. So this is what it looks like, okay? It's flat on the back, okay? Like that. But here, you can see, it's got a flat edge here, a flat edge here, and it's got I was going to say segregated then, serrated. Right, and it's got a serrated edge there, okay? Now, this wouldn't cut paper, I don't think. I mean, it's not sharp, because at first I thought, does it cut like a pizza wedge? That's what I thought. Now, it doesn't have a brand name on. It does have something stamped in the handle, and it says OXO. Now, in the UK, I don't know if they're sold anywhere else in the world. They probably are. We have what we call OXO cubes, and they're like a stock cube, and they're used to make gravy and things like that. Or you can have them as a drink, I think. They're beef, I think they are. I don't know. And we've also got OXO Tower in London. The two, I don't believe, are related. And that's what that's got on there. So I have absolutely no idea what it is. So I'll show you again and show you that there. Look, so because you see, because there's like a bit of an area here, it looks like you do that. Maybe it is a pizza cutter. I don't know. Why it's serrated on one side and not the other? Please, if you have any idea, before I throw it away. Because I don't want to throw this away and then find out it's something really useful that I really, really need. So yeah, please tell me what you think that is. Yeah, it would be really good to know. The other thing is, still relating down to Devon, I got a little funny story to tell you. Well, I thought this was hilarious. Okay, so one of my brother's friends, Harry, he's English, but he'd lived in France a long time with my brother. I think he'd been over there 30 years or something, but he's been back in the UK for quite a long time, and he'd come down to the wake and all of that goes with it. And we got chatting. I mean, I'd never met him before. Some of his other friends I remember from when we were really young, in our 20s and everything, but I I didn't know this Harry. So we're chatting away, and Harry's 77 and I'm 70, as you know. So we're chatting, and I don't know how it came to this, but he told me about this. Oh, for God's sake, this is the conversations you have, you see, sometimes when you get older, that he now has hearing aids. His is for hearing. So I sort of said to him, oh my God, yes, so do I, but mine's for tinnitus, slight hearing loss in this ear, not anything that I would notice on a day-to-day basis. Apparently it's the high tune, the high notes. But that I had hearing aids because I suffered from tinnitus. And I will say again, if anyone has tinnitus, honestly, they are a life changer. Yes, I can sometimes still hear it, but by having these hearing aids, it's well masked, and it really has been a life changer. I can have peace at last, you know. I can sit in quietness, and which is lovely. Not all the time, because like I say, it is sort of there, but I don't really hear it, which is wonderful. Anyway, getting back to the story. So later on that evening, after the wake and everybody had gone home, just a handful of us went up to the local pub in my father's village. So we went to the pub and were sat there. Now, you know, think back when you were younger and you're all sat round a table. If you were a smoker, someone might have gone, you know, you haven't got a spare cigarette, have you? I've run out. Or have you got a Rizzler to roll, you know, make your own rollies or other things if you were that way inclined? Have you got any change? I want to play the pinball machine, or I want to play the slot machine, or whatever it was, you know. Or would you like a drink? No. Harry leans over the table and goes, psst, psst. And I go, yeah, what? And he went, you don't by any chance have a spare hearing aid battery on you, do you? Well, I roared. I don't think initially he knew what I was laughing at. I just broke up, honestly. I just thought it was the funniest thing I'd ever heard, because I could remember all of a sudden, no, when I used to go to the pub years ago with all my mates, and we all said, that was not a question. Then when I said to him about it, I said, seriously, you're not asking me if I want a drink, you're not asking me for a cigarette, you're not asking me. I said, I don't smoke anyway now, I smoked many years ago. But you're asking me for a hearing aid battery? I thought it was hilarious. I thought, well, when you get to a certain age, you know that you've got to a certain age. And I actually had them on me as well. I did have, that's even the funniest part about it as well. I did have a hearing aid battery in my bag. This is, I didn't, again, when I told you about me having these, I might have shown you this before, but I was given this little pouch, and I've got to be honest, I'm glad I got it. I have already mislaid these already and hunted high and low for them. And of course found them. So now it's a ritual when I do take them out, you know, they go in this little pouch, and in this little pouch as well is a packet of my spare batteries. I mean, all right, if I ran out of battery, or I can still hear perfectly well, but the tinnitus would be there and driving me mad. So yeah, so I just thought that was really funny. Yeah, it comes to us all at some point, doesn't it? So I don't think this vlog's going to be uber long like they normally are, because there's not a great deal to say, because my little sort of whatever I do on a day-to-day basis sort of stopped for a few weeks, because there was, you know, several trips down to Devon and back, and it's a 5.5 hour journey down and 5.5 hour back. And I don't know if I said before, but when I came back last time, not this time, but when I came back last time, there'd been an accident on the motorway, and it took me 7 hours and 45 minutes to get home. But I've got my lovely van, and she's very comfortable, and she drives like a dream, so there was no problem there. So I think maybe I will say goodbye. If I think of anything else, I'll attach it to the end of this. But as always, I'll show you the lampshade that I made. There'll be some lovely little views and little things that I've seen for you to relax to, with some nice music. And I will see you next time. Keep those comments coming. Like, subscribe, please share. It would be great if I could get some more subscribers to the channel. And hopefully I will see you in just a couple of weeks. You take care. See you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye, guys. To set the record straight, the OXO tower is directly related to OXO cubes. I googled it. Apparently the company that makes the cubes bought the tower and redesigned it to incorporate the word OXO for OXO branding, but to work around a ban on illuminated advertising at the time, the windows were designed and created to spell the word OXO. You learn something every day. One of the things I got from my father's house was this painting. You know how I love pheasants. I've got pheasants on a few things. My sister painted that when she was very young, and Mum and Dad have had it for years, and I've always liked it and always wanted it, but I like it because the colours tie in, there's a pheasant, with everything I have here. So I was quite pleased with that. Look, oh, I've got my log burner going, how wonderful. And you see, economics, looking after the economy of my household, that's for hot water, for washing up and things. But that kettle is my kettle that I have on the cooker. That will stay nice and hot, so when I use it for the cooker, when I want to make a cup of tea, it takes only moments to actually come to the boil. Bringing things on land that I learned on the boat, but yeah. So, oh, that's that jug that I bought, jug vase that I bought at that shop I went to in my last vlog up in Llandudno. So, yeah, loving that. So this is the lampshade that I made using the fabric that I showed you earlier on from Amanda's Fabrics. And this is the Reg Estate RHUG, where I will be holding my lampshade courses. This is Horseshoe Falls. It's where Tansy and I went for the day. And this oak tree was beautiful. I didn't do it justice because the root system was incredible and I didn't really film it. It was all above and below ground. You could see it all. Now, when we went to this place, because it's called Horseshoe Falls, we presumed we would see a fall, like a big waterfall, but no, it was this, a weir. However, it was still lovely, and where all the water, look at all these, I mean, you'd almost think a beaver made it, but no, this is, I think, where, you know, all the water comes down and everything just runs down with the storms and things and just gathers into one place. But it was rather lovely, and it was really nice to walk around, and you could take a picnic and sit down. We didn't, because it wasn't that warm, but yeah, it was rather lovely. I mean, look at this. I thought it was so calming just watching that flowing. This is apparently the beginning of the Shropshire Union Canal. Every canal starts somewhere, and whilst the main canal in the area is the Llangollen Canal, the Shropshire Union Canal is obviously runs into the Shropshire area, and Shropshire is the next county to North Wales, and it's in England. This was a pub. As we were walking along the banks of the River Dee there, we came across, I think it's called the Chain Bridge, and it's got a main road on one side, then the river, and then a main road on the other. And to get across the river, like the pub says, there is a chain bridge. But I was fascinated by all these flowers. The colours at this time of year, mid-October, I mean, all right, you've got busy lizzies and geraniums. I mean, I've got a new flower coming on my geranium outside, but this, I mean, it was lush. I loved it. Wish I could grow flowers like this. This pub also has rooms as well. So it's like a little sort of bed and breakfast / hotel. But it'd be lovely to stay here for a couple of days. It was very quiet. Snapdragons, I think we used to call them when we were kids. Look at this fuchsia. I just love the colour. Isn't it beautiful? this is amazing. I mean, obviously it is steel wire, and there's obviously a lot of them that holds up this amazing chain bridge. And it goes from the pub across to the other side of the road, as it were. And apparently it's the oldest iron chain bridge in Wales. Oh, we came across these as well. I think they were probably about to go down the rapids, which is further down near Llangollen itself, and you saw there's somebody in and someone else goes in. Maybe they were sort of just getting a feel of what it would be like if, as they go down the rapids, they fell out of the boat. Look at this beautiful sunset through the blinds on my window. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Lovely to have you along with me, and keep subscribing, keep watching, and I hope you stay a while with my little channel.